Hey everyone, welcome to Living in His Purpose podcast. Today is part 2 with Janet Hager. And somewhere in here, I have probably called her by the wrong last name. It is Janet Hager, Hager. I will have the correct information down below, but I just want to get right into the rest of the conversation. I'm really glad that you're here, and I hope that you're learning something from Janet, and I hope that you give her a call because I truly believe that what she does is what everyone needs help with. Okay, let's just get into it.
I would say what opened me up to it was my son going through this concussion. Mm-hmm. He had a severe traumatic brain injury from a bike wreck that left him with a 10-minute delayed response time.
Oh my goodness.
And so in the process of trying to find care for him, we had to wait forever to get into a neuropsychologist. Mm-hmm. In the process, he had failed one concussion protocol after another. He just was not going to be able to live the life that he had prior to the concussion.
Yeah.
And so that changed our entire family. It was a really desperate time. Very difficult to have conversations in our house. Just what would you like for breakfast, honey? You know, like he could say the same thing every single day. He would just say oatmeal and jam. Mm-hmm. And anyway, I just kept serving him oatmeal and jam every day. Mm-hmm. And then we end up needing some help with one of our other children who was struggling with dyslexia. Didn't know it at the time. We just knew that he was struggling with reading. Everything was a fight. We had been homeschooling because of my son's concussion. Mm-hmm. And so we just realized there has to be another way to figure things out. And so in the process of learning how to navigate reading issues and how to help one son feel better, the other one was just really dying on the vine when it comes to learning because he couldn't process anything quick enough.
Right.
And he could understand what he wanted, but he just couldn't articulate what he needed. And it was just an incredibly difficult time. So we meet this brain integration practitioner at a homeschool conference. She was talking about dyslexia and ADD and ADHD, which is primarily what brain integration focuses on.
Yeah.
And as she was just talking about our family and just asking what the dynamics look like and what stress is a part of our lives.
Right.
She thought maybe there was some sensory issues. Maybe we are too loud and he needs more quiet in order to think and process. Anyway, as she was just asking these questions, it came about that our other son had this concussion and he really needed to be the primary focus for the brain integration because he was getting ready to go see a neuropsychologist and get labeled and sign up for special services. And we just needed to make him the priority. So we had 3 days before that meeting and we spent 10 hours in her office and did the entire brain integration in one day, which was pretty remarkable. And he walked out an absolute zombie. He was so tired. He fell asleep a few times. And the next morning, I knew something had already changed because when he woke up, I said, hey guys, what do you want for breakfast? I was already making the oatmeal with the jam because I knew in 10 minutes somebody was going to tell me oatmeal and jam. And then I set it down at the table. I have the other person's food ready to go. And then my son comes to me. He's like, wait, I didn't want oatmeal and jam. I wanted toast. And I'm like, no, you don't. You want oatmeal and jam. Like, that's what I serve you every day. He goes, I know I don't like oatmeal and jam. And it hit me right then. We're having a conversation in real time. I've never been so excited to argue with one of my children in my entire life.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was in real time and he could articulate what he wanted right then and there.
Yeah.
And it was so clear and it was so obvious to me that something had shifted, because we weren't waiting to see how things were going to go. They were just already happening.
Yeah.
And at that point I was like, oh, something has happened.
Yeah.
We're just going to kind of see.
Yeah.
Well, because we homeschooled, I was able to see how he was able to learn. I mean, what would take us hours to just accomplish the most simple 3-step task. I mean, that could be knocked out in less than 2 minutes. And we started getting our time back. We regained our conversations. The quality of our time together was so much more rich and fulfilling.
Wow.
And so whenever we went to the neuropsychologist a few days later, he was looking at a 2-inch thick chart. And he was like, I can't explain this, but your son has passed all of the tests. And I can't find that he's ever had a concussion.
Wow.
And I don't believe in miracles, but I don't know how else to describe this. What else has happened? I tried to talk about brain integration. He was like, that's cute. I don't believe that. I don't even know what you're talking about. But something has happened. And there's nothing I can do for your son. because he doesn't qualify
doesn't
for
need
any
anything.
of the,
Yeah.
he doesn't qualify for any of the
Wow.
services that we're offering.
Wow.
And so from that point on, I mean, we still had to go back and fill in some gaps. There was some information that had lost along the way. And so it took us a 2-year period to kind of rehabilitate him completely. But during that whole time, my other son, he went from forgetting, he would read one word and then he would forget what he read in the very next line. It would be the same exact word. And so like the word the, he wouldn't be able to understand that E makes the sound and when you're spelling THE, right? Like it just didn't make any sort of sense. And he would stumble over that word every single time. And I thought, just remember, just pay attention. You know, like this kid was in so much trouble, you know, because I just felt like he was just
not paying attention.
Not paying attention. And that wasn't the case at all. Like he literally couldn't remember the line above. He couldn't see the repetition or any sort of sequence and things. He just couldn't do it. And so as he went through the brain integration process, we recognized that, oh, there's some visual memory impairments. And it's not that it's a permanent damage sort of situation. It's that he doesn't have access to that region of his brain that's helping him recognize what he sees. He's not able to remember what the rules are. He's not remembering how to put all of the different information together. Like, what does every letter sound like? How do they string together? What are the special rules involved? He didn't know any of that. He just didn't have it in him. So after his brain integration, it took about I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 more years, we was able to get back to grade reading level, or the appropriate reading level. And then whenever he started junior high, I really believed that it worked because I told him, like, we can fight all day long about these readers. Like, you have to read. You have to get a certain number of hours in. I don't care what you read at this point. It's not going to be comic books, just so we're clear. But you're going to read
had that
paragraphs
conversation,
and figure out which book you want to learn from. And so he picked up Wayne Grudem's systematic theology book, 800 pages. And he said, I want to read this. And I was like, well, then do it. I'm not even going to argue with you. Whatever, prove it. I'll believe it when I see it. You know, I had such disdain in the process of teaching. I was a terrible teacher.
So when you're homeschooling, you just do what you have to do.
You really do. I mean, everything feels like an experiment. Every day's different. You're just like, I'm going to be great at winging it. You know, like, we'll figure it out. That's all I know. We will figure it out. And so whenever he came back after the first hour, he came back and he said, I read this book. He's already read like 20 pages, which I couldn't get him to read 3 before. And he was like, I really like this format. Like, I like that it gives an idea of what I'm going to expect. It gives me questions to look for and think about answering. He's like, I'll read more like this.
Okay.
And I thought, what in the world? Like, okay, does he know anything? And so I'm reading and I'm like having him answer my questions, and he was able to retain it because it was going in a way that he could understand. The great thing about that is some of the information can be written in columns, and so he wasn't having to cross body as often. And so we just started giving him more literature that was written in column form instead of just going across the page. And so as we continued to work on things and we worked on cross body movements, the coordination just really picked up for him, and he was able to just start reading anything that he wanted to read. And it wasn't just that he could do it. It's that he could do it once and he could remember, and then he could apply that knowledge. Like, what's the point of learning if you're not going to apply what you're learning? And he fell in love with learning, and I'm just so excited for both of my kids. They both graduated high school when I really thought there was no hope for that. They've both been able to navigate adulthood and move on into some careers, and it's just been really such a great thing to watch when the early days indicated that would never happen.
So, and when you met her then, is that when you decided, hey, maybe this is something I want to do?
Oh, when I went through my own integration, you know, like all moms, we wait until the very last to be the very last person to get help after all of our people have been cared for. I should have gone first. But it would have really helped with some other things. But as I went through my own brain integration, and I just felt, for one, I noticed a significant improvement in my sleep. Better mood regulation, emotional regulation. My thoughts didn't have to feel as scattered. Like, one of the things that I would do is I would make a grocery list and then leave it on the table. And then I would get to the grocery store and then I would blow the budget because I just didn't remember. And I, you know, like, you do your best. I'll go back 3 more times this week to gather the rest of the things on the list.
On the list,
And so after my brain integration, I remember the very first time that I went to the store and I was like, oh gosh, I left my list on the table. And then I just remembered seeing the list and what was on it. And I went in and I got everything. I think I had like 20 items and I only missed one.
Wow.
And so when I got back, I was like, I only have to make one more trip this week to Walmart. Do you know how much time I got back in my life?
I can
so much.
totally imagine, yes.
It was, and then like when you have the ingredients to cook a meal, you just don't have to go out to eat as much.
Exactly. That's how that works, yeah.
But those are just like some basic things that started happening. So whenever I saw the results in my children, I saw them in myself, I knew it was something that I was going to do. I had to figure it out. And 3 weeks later, I was in class in Boulder, and the Lord had provided the means to make it there with the just in all the ways. And here I am 12 years later doing this.
It's incredible what you do. What else do you want to add into that? What else do you want to go into some detail of what it is? Like what is actually happening in the brain, or so give me an example then, and then what's happening, like how what you're doing and what's happening to make that. Do you remember what's on the list?
Right. So when a client comes to me, they do not know what their problems are. They don't know why they can't read and remember. They don't know why they can write something down and forget it. They don't know why.
Right.
And I don't necessarily know why either.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a million reasons why we're not doing the thing.
Yes.
So brain integration is great because it has compartmentalized different areas of the brain and the body so that you can initiate the task. And in order to initiate, you have to have access to it. So brain integration is really great about being able to figure out how much percentage of access you have different regions of your brain, whether it's more analytical side or creative side. And as you start navigating those areas of the brain, you're going to determine if you're a more analytical person who's going to be great with visual construction, or if you're going to have more visual recall as a creative person, because you can visualize things, right?
Yeah.
And so part of the process is just to figure out how much access that you have to these percentages. And I do that through a process called muscle testing.
Yes.
And muscle testing is a fantastic way of hacking into your subconscious to rely on it to reveal what's going on.
Yes.
Instead of you having to know exactly what the problem is.
Yes.
And when you rely on muscle testing, and it's not voodoo or magic or anything like that.
It's a real thing.
It's just, so there are plenty of tests, and we could do one on the screen if you'd like.
I do. Okay. I do. I want it because this is so cool. This is so cool.
Okay. So you're going to just hold out your arm like this. And so I just want you to think about, and uncross your legs. There you go. I want you to think about something fun. Don't tell me what it is. Just think about something fun. And as I'm just gently pressing on your arm is strong. And I can turn this off and retest it. It's still locked. Okay. Now I want you to think about cleaning toilets. Your facial expression gave it away, but your arm dropped just a little bit. And so now it's moving, right? Like you can't stop me. Try to stop me.
No, I can't.
Can't stop.
I am trying, like legit. Yes.
Now go back and think about the last retreat that you were on and how much you loved it, and you came back so fueled and energetic and full of purpose. And I'm pressing as hard as I can, and your arm is locking. So that's the power of your subconscious. Your muscles are controlled by your subconscious. I don't have to do anything other than ask you questions to see how your arm responds. And as it responds in some sort of unlocking mechanism, it's not weakness. It's just unlocking. If it was weak, it wouldn't be able to come back on. Right? But it's not. It's just the slight bit of stress is indicated in your muscles.
And I remember the first time that you did that, I don't even remember what question it was that you asked or anything. And I was like, just doubt. I have to see it to believe it. That's just kind of how I am. And I'm like, I don't know about this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't stop. I'm trying to resist and I can't resist. And so it is a real thing. And you can go on YouTube. Like I've gone on YouTube and it's really a thing. And you've shown me how to lock and unlock. But my thing is I can't remember which way is lock and unlock, and I don't want to leave myself unlocked. So I'm like, I'll just wait.
Well, good news is it automatically resets within 45 seconds.
Oh,
if not sooner.
Good.
So
Okay,
you're not going to be unlocked forever.
I needed to know that.
You're safe. It's totally fine to test.
That's so funny. But and you can test on yourself too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's and that goes with the research that I've done. Understanding, our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, and our non-conscious mind. And our non-conscious mind remembers everything from the time we were conceived.
Correct.
And everything. And it's like 90%, maybe 99% of our memories, everything that we've experienced in life, external, internal, processed, Everything is in that non-conscious mind. We just don't have access to it. So that's kind of, in my mind, that's what like brain integration is. We're actually kind of accessing that through our bodies, because our bodies remember everything.
Absolutely.
And I believe that. I believe, and when you go into a stressful situation, your body remembers, I've been here before. I didn't like this. I'm going to posture this way. And then you're like, why? This is so different. And it's not. Your body's like, no, we've been here before.
Right.
So it's totally a thing. It's totally a thing.
Right. And your foundation for the way you perceive the world around you is really going to lock in by the age of 7.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing to do is to work with people who are the oldest in the family. They experience competition unlike anybody else.
Yeah.
Because once they get a sibling,
yeah,
they feel like the whole world has shifted.
Yeah.
Like they feel abandoned, they feel betrayed. They are no longer the center of the universe in their parents' world.
Yeah.
And so they just work harder
Yeah.
to get that attention and validation.
Is that why firstborn are usually the ones that do? Like they're
absolutely.
highly, like they're the, not all the time, but more so the more successful ones, the more go get them out there and everything.
Absolutely.
Because it's competition.
I think it's a lot of competition, but I also
totally makes
believe
sense, yeah.
that they learn just as easily even if you're a firstborn without any other siblings,
Yeah.
you are still going to have this internal drive. You're going to not be afraid of being alone. Being alone isn't going to feel lonely.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to be focused and not distracted. So there's benefits. Birth order is a fascinating
It really
topic.
is. Yes. Lehman, Dr. Lehman. Is it Kevin Lehman? Kevin Lehman. He's got a book on that. I was just listening to him the other day. I'm like, oh, I really need to get that book. I want to read that book.
It's definitely fascinating.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so if a kid has this fear of abandonment or fear of being betrayed, usually firstborns have a lot more alone time. Like whenever they're trying to succeed, you need that so that you can perfect your skill, right? Whatever your gift and talent is, you don't need a whole lot of people around cheering you on because, and if you've locked in the foundation that, you can just suddenly stop being the center of someone's universe before the age of 7, you can't trust your parents, you're really going to have a high level of trust in yourself.
That's
and
true.
you're going to have
Yeah.
a lower sense of trust in others. And so whenever you have that dynamic within trust, then it really is going to lay the foundation as to how you're going to navigate your life.
Yeah.
And what's great about brain integration is that there's 3 basic switches that we focus on. It's called deep level switching. One is going to master the way that you think, feel, and comprehend the past. How you take things into consideration. Can you learn from your mistakes? Can you remember what you've been told so that even if you haven't experienced it, you can apply it?
Yes.
So being able to navigate those 3 things, you have to identify where you're locked. Like, what is the emotion that is locked in? So if it's abandonment and you start to release abandonment in the session, then you're going to rewire the brain for inclusion.
Yeah.
You're going to be looking for ways to be united in an effort with other people without feeling the fear of being abandoned.
Right.
Whenever you are locked in fear as a young child, and it could just simply be from losing your favorite toy. It doesn't have to be like a traumatic experience, but whatever, your brain is not developed, until you're 25.
Right.
So
it doesn't know what's traumatic or not yet.
Exactly. So just as you're navigating childhood and you just experience these things that are really disappointing and you can't make sense of them, it's going to feel traumatic.
Yeah.
And so whenever you lock in the sense of fear, then you're going to start to notice the child is afraid to perform. They're going to be afraid to try.
Yes.
They will be disrespectful to adults to avoid the thing that they don't want to be doing. They could also be looking at there's so many ways that it could go wrong.
There is.
But whenever you feel a sense of safety and security, you can feel safe with yourself. You can feel that it's okay to make mistakes and move on from them. You can feel that other people can make mistakes and you can forgive them. But if you're locked in betrayal, best of luck forgiving anyone, right? Like that just doesn't compute.
Right.
And so whenever we do the deep level switching within a session, which is really just touching certain pressure points on your body that are formulated for accessing the limbic system and accessing your cerebral cortex so that we know how you're going to be thinking and processing information.
Right.
And then looking at memory and how that's working or not working for you.
Yes. That's the next session.
Right, exactly. So as we navigate these 3 main switches, then that changes the foundation of how you see the world around you. And it makes you feel safer.
Yeah.
And once you feel safer, about your perception of the world,
Yeah.
then things really do change.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way to explain what happened. Like that first summer we went through, I think it was 15 hours total that we went through. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I do have a different way of seeing the world now. I'm not like before. I felt like I was very cautious, very like, I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure about myself. I don't know if I trust other people. I don't know what's going to happen. To now I'm like, oh, well, that was kind of interesting. Let's move on, and what I personally feel is a lot more confidence in myself.
Good.
I feel like I'm okay. Like it's, yeah, I've got things I need to work on, but I'm not inherently wrong.
Right.
And what I like about what you do is that I'm able to take that though and then apply it into my spiritual walk and so I just feel like going through the brain integration, my mind is like settled down, and now I can hear more clearly where I'm supposed to go. And of course, I'm hearing from God, I'm hearing from Holy Spirit. This is, hey, I've got this for you. Let's do this. And instead of coming from that, well, I don't know if I can do that. I mean, I still have times where I'm that way, but it's not my drive. I can have that thought, but now I can have the drive. The drive is like, okay, let's take a breath. Let's take a breath and let's look at this. And now, oh yeah, I can see God is saying this. So yeah, this could be this is possible.
Right.
So just having that. And like I said, I still don't understand. Like you're sitting here telling me what's happening, but I would like to see, I'd like to see it on an MRI, what's happening in the brain.
Absolutely.
That you're able to take these switches in my mind. I think of these like big power switches in my brain, like I'm on now, just what is happening in there. Is it electrical? Or is it in the neurons? Or
yes, it is in the neurons.
Okay.
And so brain integration has these specific pressure points that we hold on your head that increases blood flow.
Yes.
Anytime there's more blood flow to an area, you're going to increase neuroplasticity. That's just a fancy word for saying that your brain can change. It's not stuck and locked in forever.
Yes.
Doom and gloom.
Right.
You can absolutely change.
Right.
And so the goal is to be able to increase the blood flow so that your brain can have more oxygen to certain areas of your brain, that you can feel safer to learn and not have every single memory associated with something that has been considered negative before. You were talking about your spiritual walk. Like in mine, I'm a perfectionist. I don't want to be hyper vigilant of every mistake, but I was very much wired that way for a very long time.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to have self-criticism. It's easy to think you're not going to get better than this. I mean, you will, but because of diligence and other things. But initially, whenever those thoughts come, like they can be kind of scary, and you can really believe them because they feel so real.
Yeah.
And one thing that I noticed just in my spiritual walk is that I wasn't afraid to recognize my own sin.
Yeah.
I wasn't afraid of going before God and saying, hey, I need help with this. Because this is like, I don't know why I'm struggling with this, or I don't know why I believe what it is. But like I could actually stop and have some curiosity about why.
Yes.
Because all sin is just rooted in a lie. Right? Any sort of disobedience to the Lord is rooted in some lie. But it feels like the truth.
It does.
Right? Like
Yeah.
you have,
you
whenever
can
you're
convince yourself.
you just can't. And some things are
Yeah.
really confusing, and some things I don't know that I'll ever need, I'll ever know the answers to.
Yeah.
But I can say that self-reflection didn't feel unsafe anymore.
Yes.
And it was safe enough
Yeah.
to start questioning, okay, what are my possibilities? Instead of just locking in on the problems.
Yes, exactly.
It was the freedom to see my opportunities.
Exactly. And for me, in my mind, it's a lot of shame.
Sure.
It's a lot of shame that for me, shame is like this big heavy blanket, and it can cover every aspect of life.
Right.
And so when I look at, I made a mistake, that shame just like grabs onto it, pulls me down. It's like just holding me back. And now I don't have that anymore. It's like I've been able to let that go to the level where I get curious now. I'm like, why did I do that? And I don't jump to I'm a terrible, awful person. No one's ever going to love me anymore, and God's never going to forgive me. It's like, that was probably not the best thing to do. Let's agree with God that this was wrong, and let's turn around and go a different direction.
Right.
And so I've just loved, thanks for rewiring my brain.
Well, I love that you just said, you have the freedom to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
And just like when you walked into my office, you only saw one side of things.
I did.
You couldn't look in multiple directions. Sometimes whenever we're locked in our own sin, it's more about we don't see that there's an alternative, or at least a better alternative, or why that is even purposeful.
Yeah.
And or if it even applies to us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
Being able to have full range of motion really does help a lot of
really
different things
does.
in life.
It does. It's just fascinating what you do. Like I said, when I hear, like, I've had friends whose kids have learning disorders, and it's inhibiting them. Like their whole social life is going downhill. They're feeling their self-worth is awful, off the charts. And I'm like, you need to go see Janet, because I'm pretty sure she can help your daughter with this. And when people are feeling, I don't know what's going on, I just feel overwhelmed, I can't get my thoughts together. When I try, things fall apart. I'm praying, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and it's just not working. I just feel it very off. You need to go see Janet, because there's something there's something connecting or disconnected in your brain and your body that's not allowing things to flow through. And like I said, I really struggle, because the way I want to explain it is like this energy force that we have. But then you start thinking, oh no, we're getting into these Chinese words, these Chinese medicine philosophy words. And it's like, but we are energy. This is, we are all the way down to the atomic level. We are light and sound. And that's, if you think about it, God created everything with the sound of his voice.
Right.
Why would we not be light and sound? And we are created in his image, and he is light. So we are. So we do have energy in us. We are energy beings.
Right.
So
Right. And I believe that it is difficult for people to wrap their mind around different types of energy, because they're just afraid of so many things.
Yeah.
But like, if you could think of energy like motivation, like I'm really motivated to do some things, and other things, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And whenever you can not just change the neurotransmitters in your brain, and not just focus on an exercise program or a positive toxicity mindset, or toxic positivity, I mean, you're able to just navigate life a little bit easier.
Right.
And so when I think about energy, I think about current. You have the energy to lift up your arm and to move your legs and to blink, and you're not having to tell yourself to do those things. Right. Your brain is already doing that. It's like a circuit board. Right. And so, or like the, it's, at your house where you have the breakers, and like certain areas of the house can get shut off, so you can do the wiring or something like that. Brain integration is very much like that. Yeah. And so we're just harnessing one area. I'm not taking over your brain. I can't control you in any sort of way.
There's no mind control going on.
I mean, that would be so much easier if I could, because then I wouldn't have to think so hard and do a lot of research. But no, that's totally outside of my control. And what I love about it is that your subconscious is constantly protecting you. So if you still need to suffer with something and cuddle it and learn from it, that's still yours. I don't get to take that. Like, you get to keep it. Yeah. And so whenever you become ready to deal with it, that's when I'm available to deal with it with you. Yeah. You're not going down this road alone. And so it's just always a privilege to see, you might have this, you had a goal for yourself with your own career, and you knew you wanted to do something that was going to help women and reach them and encourage them in their faith. Yeah. You weren't sure how you were going to navigate it. And there were a lot of things that you were personally trying to heal from, and then discover about yourself, and then just make the transition, like in just different seasons of life, right? You're turning 50, you're doing, you have different goals now, like what mattered before doesn't matter now. And that's great. You have the freedom to change, right? And so being able to sit with you and walk through the uncertainty so that you can gain clarity after we move some things out of the way that are no longer helpful. Yes. Then things just start to click. Like when you're on a trip and you have to take a detour, I mean, sometimes that can be fun and it can be purposeful and you can enjoy that. Other times you're just like, I just need to get there. And so that's what brain integration does. If you need to keep that detour, you're going to keep it. But if you need to just get some things out of the way,
cleared out of the way,
like the belief that you can't learn or that you can't change or that it's too scary if it's unfamiliar. My favorite is I have to understand it before I allow it. That's not true.
No.
I've been working on that for years with myself. And so, like I said, like you can cuddle your suffering as long as you need to until you're ready to release it.
Yeah.
So,
And then when you are, there is a way to do it.
Right.
And that feeds back into the word of God. Take your thoughts captive and renew your mind. It's completely possible. And so, and God understands that we're going to get certain things stuck in our path. And a lot of times it's us, with a limiting belief or whatever. But that's kind of where that's in our minds, that's in our brains. And that does kind of put that in there. And I love that you say that you can coddle that, or you can just move it out of the way. And so I feel like I'm in a place in life, I'm like, okay, I'm done coddling. Let's get the stuff gone. I'm ready to get moving forward even faster, because now I'm 53, almost 54. I've got to keep going.
Well, and I just love that. Like, you're going to attain all of your dreams, like I just see that in you as your passion for other people, and it aligns with who you are. And there's just no greater joy than to see you shine.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I know that we could sit and talk about this like on and on and on. And we will later. I'm sure we'll do another episode about something. So I'm hoping that this has helped someone somewhere think about different ways that you can help yourself, that God has given us to help ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. So thanks, Janet. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate your time.
All right. We'll see you next week. Thank you.